وين صرنا هون؟ اوكي so خلصنا everything on the screen. We animated everything, but we still want to do a couple of things to end this. One thing is we have to fix the colors. The colors هون are way different than the colors here, so we have to put an adjustment layer and start fixing the colors. The screen we have to make it darker شوي probably. هلا بنفوت بنظبطها. And we still have this zoom in on the camera and then zoom out بنرجع. And that's about it. Okay, so ما عنا شي بقى، عنا هالشغلتين بعد. So already خلصنا نحن السكرين. We're not using it anymore. هلا بدي ارجع فوت شوي على السكرين تغير الcolor تبعول الباكجراوند تبعولي. So I'm gonna go down right here and gonna make this a little bit darker. Like this. Something like that. So I made it شوي darker. Now I wanna focus on the camera a little bit. So zoom in and zoom out of the camera. So I can easily do this with something called a null layer, a null object. So a null object is basically an object that is not rendered by After Effects. So هيدي مثلا it's an object but it has a graphic on it, so that's why it looks like that. إذا بيجي لهون layer and I say layer new null object, it creates an object that has a position inside of my scene, but it does not have a look, so it does not have a graphic. But I can still parent things to this. يعني بقدر اجي لهون and press P on the keyboard and change the position a little bit, so something like that. Okay, and now I can, let's say, select everything من هون تحت null one, and I can parent it to the null one. So I can go press here on the background and say null one, or I can just use the whiplash right here to click and drag it to null one. So now كلهم they're parented, they are children of null one. So now في فوت لهون and I can move null one and everything moves with it because they're parented to each other. I can scale it up and down. So this is how I'm going to mimic the camera movement لقدام. So I want to do that. So أول camera movement بدي إياها تقرب وتقطع أول transition, which is basically here. So I'm just going through, and وقت تبلش الترانزيشن بنصها تقريبا, this is where I want to start zooming in. So somewhere right here. So هون بدي بلش أقرب. So in this case I want to animate the scale and the position. So I can keep holding, pressing down shift and press P, so it opens the position and the scale together. And I want to animate both of these. So there you go. I just placed two keyframes. Now في أعمل شوية zoom in, zoom out بس تقشها أحسن. I can do both, whatever. هلا بنشوف شو أحسن لنا. So I want to make the animation 10 frames long. So وقت تقرب الكاميرا من أول ما تبلش تقرب لآخر شيء بدي إياها تكون 10 frames. So I'm just going to press on my keyboard page down. So حد الانتر هي. So page down, I'm going forward one frame. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So 10 frames لقدام. So هون بدها تكون مقربة سوبر لقدام، يعني ما بدي اياها تكون بقى ورا. So هون على 10 frames بدي بلش اقربها. So I'm gonna scale up. Okay, so something like 270%. So قربتها 2.7 times basically. هلا in videos like that sometimes بصير في عندكم low resolution لأنه كتير قربت. It's pixel based, so وتقرب كتير بتوطى resolution. So, بس in this case because the artwork is simple ما كتير عندي distortions بالresolution, so it's fine. So عرفوا كيف تقربوها إذا بدكم تشتغلوا later on. اوكي هلا قربتها منيح بس بدي أعليها شوي. That's why I animated the position as well. So في أعليها like this شوي. So kinda like this بس تنقش على السكرين منيح. So now I'm animating the null position and everything is parented to the null position. So شو ما بتعمل null position بيعملوا هوديك كلهم. That's why ما عملت one by one لكل وحدة. So now it's like this. Perfect. Okay. Now I want to make it smoother. So to make it smoother, I just select all of these keyframes, right click, keyframe assistant, easy ease. So now, perfect. Now I want to zoom out as well لأنه ما بدي اياها تضلها كاميرا مقربة. So I want to zoom out. So in this case هقرب شوي and I'm gonna wait for the second transition. So I'm waiting for just transitions to happen. And this is the second transition. So بنصها مثل last time. I'm going to back out the camera. هلا in this case هول الكي فريمز عندي اياهم هون the 4 key frames. عم بتفوت الكاميرا لجوا بدي اعملها لبرا. So I want to create the opposite of that. هلا تبقى قاعد اعملها step by step ارجع. I can just select these. So Control C. Okay, so I selected and I Control C'd it, so I copied it, and then on the playhead right here, Control V بتطلع صارت هون الكي فريمز تبعولتي. بس هلا ليكو كيف شكلها، لانه هو نفس الشيء. I want to select these and right click and say keyframe assistant. Instead of easy ease I just say time reverse keyframes. So هيدا it just تبرم لي اياهم يعني the last keyframe becomes the first keyframe and the first keyframe becomes the last. So قلبتهم basically. So now this happens. اوكي رجعت لورا. Perfect, that's what you want. هلا في اعمل شغلة بعد زيادة بس I don't think it's gonna matter. I can work with the background a little bit to make it give it a better effect بس there's no need خلاص it's fine. بلا ما نزيد عليها اشياء اكتر. So I'm gonna save that. And one more thing is I want to create the effects of the create no to create a better looking effect for the video. Now it's not looking so well, it's looking cartoonish شوي. Time to make it more colorful الصورة إذا بدكم يعني. If that's the word you want to use. So to do that, I'm gonna create an adjustment layer. So I'm gonna close down null one. I'm gonna create an adjustment layer. So layer, new, adjustment layer. So هي already اشتغلنا بقلبها بسكرين under screen effects. So a null layer, sorry, an adjustment layer is basically a layer that affects everything underneath it. So كل هول شيء تحتها null و control cabinet till background, they are being affected by adjustment layer 3. هلا instead of adjustment layer 3, I want to add a couple of things. So build adjustment layer 3, I'm gonna add something called glow. So in effects and presets, make sure to search for glow right here. You can find it in window effects and presets. Make sure this is on. And then I'm gonna search glow. هيدا استعملناها already بقلب screen, the composition. So under stylize, you have glow here. I'm gonna click and drag it and place it here. So now صار عندي glow. Now كتير قوية. I wanna make it a little bit more subtle. So I can increase the threshold. Increasing the threshold بعلي tolerance تبعولتي. So basically I'm saying 85% of the colors are being affected in the image. So حعليها شوي. I'm going to increase the radius quite a bit. So let's see إذا أحسن هيك. So بعد بدها شوي. Let's say around here. Okay, so I think this is good. ليكو كيف خلقت هالجلو حواليها كأنه السكرين عم بتضوي basically. لأنه إذا بتطلع على الأوريجينال one you can see that it looks like that. So بلشنا نقرب على الفاينل outlook تبعولنا. So this is now good. Let's see إذا بنغير شوي بعد. Let's work around with the intensity a little bit. So the intensity قد ايه قوتها للجلو. So إذا كتير بعليها ليكو كيف بتصير بيطلع كتير واهج منها. So I'm gonna make sure that it's around 1.5 let's say. Okay. So this is the before and this is the after. So بلشت هيك it's like it's glowing. That's the intent of the glow effect. Now I want to add something called هيدي أول مرة بنشوفها unsharpen mask. So unsharpen mask. Actually it's unsharp mask. It's under blur and sharpen. So unsharp mask is a mask that removes the sharp edges around certain areas. Okay هلا بنشوف شو بتعمل. So I'm just going to click and place it under glow. And حقرب شوي وفرجيكم كيف تأثر. So this is without, this is with. هلا مش مبين شي. Let me increase the amount. Okay, so ليكو كيف كانت. ليكو كيف صارت. Okay, so it makes the edges a bit more sharp. Okay. هلا انا عم بعملها كمان اكسر شوي الجلو، كمان اخلط بين اللون اللي على الشمال واللون على اليمين. So الجلو الطالع من الشاشة والباك جراوند تبعه. I wanna combine both of them. So I wanna make sure that this is low. لأنه كتير it affects negatively. So I'm just going to work in this range. So something like this. So around the 20s. And I want to increase the radius as well. So I'm just looking at the screen and increasing it to see is about بدي let's say this. Okay. So this is fine. Let's check that. ليكوا كيف كانت بدون unsharpen، ليكوا كيف صارت. So it kinda added شوية highlights, added a little bit of highlights on the corners and on the sides. So this is a good effect. Now, so this is basically done. Let's check the adjustment layer هون كيف صارت. ليكوا كيف كانت شوي ميتة السين. Now صارت way better because it's glowing now. Now I can add شوية I can add a vignette around the screen. So a vignette is basically vignette effect. So ما بعرف إذا شايفينها هيدي دايما بالفوتوغرافز موجودة. You have it in Instagram as well. So like this basically. So this effect around the photograph. So that's what a vignette is. Let's create that here to add a little bit of darkness around the image. So I'm gonna right click here and say rename, and I'm gonna call that glow slash unsharp. Okay, so basically I'm سميها هيك لللاير. Now I wanna add a layer, new adjustment layer, another one. I'm gonna call that vignette, right? Because that's what we're going to do in this case right here. So vignette. Now to add a vignette, I wanna mask it. Okay, so I wanna add a curves and then I wanna mask these curves. So بالvignette هون, I'm just gonna go right here and search for something called curves. So curves شايفينها already بفوتوشوب قبل. هلا بفرجيكم كيف. I'm going to drag it here. See, you have a curve now. So if I drag this to the left side, make it brighter and I make it darker. So this is the brightness and this is darkness من هون. Same as this. Now if I place a point right here, so I'm gonna click on the curve, I place a point, and I can just click and drag this down like this. So I'm gonna make it around this effect. I don't want to apply it to the entire image, I only want to apply it to the sides. So I can do that by creating a mask. So to create a mask, I can just click here and select the ellipse tool. I can use any tool, but I want the ellipse tool in this case. Make sure vignette, so the adjustment layer is selected, and I double click on the ellipse tool. So I create a mask based on my adjustment layer, size تبع adjustment layer. So ليكو pivot points دقين بكل السايدز تبعول السكرين تبعولتي. So depending on the size of your screen, on your composition, I add a mask to it. So ليكو هون كل شيء الادجستمنت لاير. سو كل شيء عامله بالماسك الكيرفز موجود بالنص بقلب السيركل، بس كل شيء بريته مش موجود. So I wanna be the I want to do it differently. I want to do it the opposite. So بدي كل شيء يبين بريت السيركل وكل شيء بقلبه ما يبين شيء. So instead of add right here underneath under mask under vignette we have mask 1. ما بدي اياها add، بدي اياها subtract. So ليكو كيف بصير قلبت. So now كل شيء affected صار بريت السيركل instead of being inside of the circle. هلا اذا بعمل deselect ليكو كيف it's like I have a tan line. So this is not attractive. I wanna make it better. I wanna feather it. اوكي بدي اياها تفوت اكتر، يعملوا شو بسموها كأنه اخلطهم بيناتهم، اخلط بين اللونين كيف ما يكون عندي like this هيدا اللاين. So I can do that by just going here mask 1 and feathering. So I can increase the feather to something like 300. So now ليكو كيف صارت بعده الافكت عم يزبط على الطرف، بس ما بقى كتير sharp الادج. Okay, so I feathered the edge. Now I can play around with the max expansion by dragging it in or out. So if I drag it in تطلع على الجوانب. So I expand it to the sides أكتر. So هلا ليكو إذا بفوتها لجوا أكتر ليكو كيف صار الدارك أقرب. If I drag it out صار أخف الدارك. So حسب وين بدي أحطه، إذا بالcenter or no. In this case I don't want to place it in the center. I want to place it on the sides. So something around 100 is nice. Now let me deselect that, close that up, and fit the composition to see how it looks. Now this is the final outlook. This is how it looks like. Let's play that and see. هلا I'm just rendering it. I can do it in full to see how it looks like 100%. This is the full resolution تبعولتي. And let's watch that and see if something is off about it. It's gonna take some time to buffer. Okay, so it should be around 12 seconds long. هلا in this case we're not going to export it. عادة من بعد ما نخلص project using After Effects or whatever software بيشبهه, we need to render it out. Just like you save in Photoshop as a picture, as a JPEG, as a PNG. عادة you need to save this video as a video file. .mp4, .avi, whatever. But we're not gonna cover it لأنه there's no need to do that. There's no need to export. بدي يصير زيد ساعة زيادة على الماتيريال وما حدا بقى همه. So I'm just going to drop it here because easily researched هيدي. إذا حدا بده يعمل عن جد export using After Effects it takes like 2 minutes to learn. So I'm just going to what's it called, buffer it. So this is called buffering and not rendering. So just so we can see the entirety of the video in real time basically. هلا عم تقطي شوي, that's why. So okay, وقفت هون buffer هيدا. Okay, so now بلشت تقرب لأنه حاطط الورك سبيس تبعولتي قبل 12 seconds. So وآخر فريم هي نفس الشيء مثل أول فريم. So it's gonna loop. So now it's going to loop كأنه رجعنا عدنا اللعب basically. So now it's going to play in real time. Perfect. مش ناقصها شيء. Okay, so this project was basically to showcase كل شيء After Effects. We use text, we use compositions, we use animation, different types of animation, compositions and text, and we've animated using effects, using the effects and presets. So ما انه كان كتير easy for beginners, that's for sure. بس it's nice, يعني it's nice to نفوت صعب أول شيء دغري لأنه that's how we learn. اللي حدا مشي معي step by step لازم يكون صار يعرف After Effects منيح و how to work around it. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave that هون.